The following podcast contains spoilers and adult language. Listener discretion is advised.
The Showdown Podcast with Corey and Vic. A debate on what movie is better, Corey's choice versus Vic's choice. They each plead their case and try to destroy the others. It's a combat of subjective opinion. I'm Brad Scott, your impartial judge, and as always, my say is final. The Showdown Podcast presents the Chris Trueblood Memorial Invitational Classic featuring Chris Trueblood. Today's combatants, Corey, friend of Dorothy Miller, and his film The Wizard of Oz, and his opponent, Vic Inferter Miller, and his film The Rocky Horror Picture Show. With your host, Brad Scott, let us prepare to podcast. Welcome to the Showdown Podcast.
I'm alive.
Your career may not be, though. So, welcome back. This is the Chris Trueblood Memorial Invitational Classic, and we are once again joined by Chris Trueblood of That 90s Band. Chris, thank you so much for coming all the way back out here and, doing another episode. We really appreciate you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
My pleasure.
Today is a musical melee.
In honor of Chris?
Of sorts. Yeah, in honor of Chris being in a band. We're like, musicals. Yeah. And Corey has chosen The Wizard of Oz.
Yep, classic.
And Vic has gone with The Rocky Horror Picture Show. I remember being a kid and desperately wanting to see the Rocky Horror Picture Show because I thought it was another Rocky movie.
I knew that's where that was going.
I was extremely disappointed when I saw it. So
You came out a totally different person.
So Vic, I'll let you make the coin toss today. What is it going to be?
Tails.
Will Surrey screw him again?
Yeah.
Siri, flip a coin.
Tails.
Hey!
Whoa!
All right.
She's got jungle fever.
Maybe she's not so racist.
So Vic, are you going to go first or are you going to defer?
I'm going to defer.
All right, Corey.
All right.
Tell us about The Wizard of Oz.
The Wizard of Oz is a story about a girl, a whiny girl in Kansas who, during a tornado, gets knocked out, and when she wakes up, she goes outside, and she is now in the magical land of Oz, where she meets Glenda the Good Witch, and is told that she has just now killed the Wicked Witch of the West.
By the way, how different would this movie have been if Bill Cosby would have been one of her uncles?
How different would this movie have been?
I fell down out by the pig pen, so I put you here in the bed, and now you're pregnant.
How different would it have been if Dorothy was black? If Dorothy was black, she would have gone to jail, gotten beaten, killed.
By the way, did you guys ever watch the show Marriage Boot Camp? It's on Wii. It's like they have the two marriage therapists, like the really famous, renowned marriage therapists, and they have celebrity couples. But Hank Baskett and Kendra were on there during Hank's big scandal with sleeping with the transvestite. And Hank Baskett, when he's like upset and everything, sounds a lot like Bill Cosby. It was really
That's
funny.
a defense mechanism.
Well, yeah, because he was obviously really guilty. Like, he banged a dude. You could tell. Because he'd be, Kendra, I'm telling you, I went there just to get some weed, and then there was the man with the penis, and they had the breast, and they started grabbing the penis, and I was like, I gotta get out of here, Kendra. I don't know what to do. We got little Hank here. What are we gonna do about him? I mean, it's so.
That's amazing.
I'm clapping for his impersonation there. That was very good. That's first.
Hank
I go for all the
Cosby.
tough impressions.
Yeah.
Cosby, Christopher Walken,
Hank Baskett doing Bill Cosby. Yeah, so that's good. So anyway, she
I
finds.
love you, Kendra. Yeah, we're with the old man, but now I got you. And
I'm starting to regret giving him props. Bill Cosby's probably going to show up in every episode now.
he might make an appearance.
Yes. So anyway, she finds out that she just killed the Wicked Witch of the East, and now she wants to get back home. That's all she wants to do. So she sets out. Glenda tells her just follow the yellow brick road. And everybody's heard this line before, and everybody can probably recite the song and do a little dance like all the little munchkins. And
Let's hear it.
follow the yellow brick road, follow the yellow brick road, follow la 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 la, follow the yellow brick road. There you go. I'm not a singer, which is why I'm not.
We represent
the Lollipop Guild. The Lollipop
Guild.
and you have to do the little kick too.
Yeah, I was actually.
Yeah, I didn't want to kick the table. Really?
For
All of us.
Especially for Vic, because for a black man, that was some awful dancing.
Which is what they do. That was a fucking spot on.
So anyhow, so she follows the yellow brick road, and she comes across a scarecrow who she helps down off his little perch, and he says, "I want a brain." So she's like, "Well, come with me. The wizard could do that for you."
He wants a brain or he wants brain?
I was thinking that too. I want some brain, Dorothy.
That was for Vic. That was for Corey.
Hell yes.
Really? So anyhow, they continue on, and they stumble across the Tin Man, and they find out that he's been rusted in place for years. So they get his oil can, and they unrust him.
That would be a good parody, though.
What's
if
that?
I only got some brain.
Oh, I'm sure it's.
I would visit your parents. I would go stay at your sister Karen's if I only got some brain.
So.
Oh, I would tell you why my balls would feel so dry. I would put it places never put it before. I think you'll try it and you'll want some more.
You need to write that.
Yes.
You seriously need to actually write that.
Yes. Before this airs, you may be seeing that skit on YouTube. So anyhow,
If the bedroom was taken, we could do it in the back of a Lincoln if you only give me some brain.
so they continue their journey because.
Hold on. We have to marinate in this for a second.
All right.
That's fucking epically comic gold right there.
That's for you.
That
Winning.
Yeah.
are all for me.
Yes.
Go ahead.
So anyway, they find out that the Tin Man wants a heart because the guy that made him, I forget what they called him, a Tin's Master or something, whatever, didn't give him a heart. So they're like, well, hey, the wizard could do that. I like how she assumes that the wizard can do everything. So
They also didn't give him a penis. I mean,
yeah. So
Might have a spark
well, he
plug in
can't
there
get a
somewhere.
brain. Well, he didn't need the brain, so so he didn't need that. There it is. Knew that was coming.
we might set a record this episode.
Yeah, we might. So they head back. They head back down the yellow brick road, and out of nowhere, the cowardly lion jumps out at him and starts to try and scare them. And turns out he is actually cowardly and is not going to really do anything. And he's like, "I just want some courage." So they're like, "Well, the wizard can do that too." So
How great would it have been if at the very end he would have just given him a... I thought you said porridge. I thought you were just looking
I thought
for
you were
some
just
porridge. I even included some banana slices, and I was like, it's a weird request. I'm the wizard. I can do anything. Maybe he's hungry.
yep. So anyhow, while they're
the gluten-free porridge.
while
the douche cowardly lion wears sunglasses inside the Emerald City. Says bro a lot.
while they're on their trip, they're still being watched by the Wicked Witch of the West, who is the sister of Wicked Witch of the East. She wants those ruby slippers that Dorothy received in the beginning from Glenda, and there's no way for her to take them off because there's a magic spell over them.
She truly is something that we haven't said on this show for a while.
What's that?
She's a cunt. We haven't had cunt on here in a while.
Yes,
and
that's true.
I felt we couldn't keep doing episodes
Yeah.
without.
She is a wicked cunt.
Yes,
Yeah, you're right.
A green cunt.
I think that's something that the episodes have been missing.
they have been. I think that's
Yeah.
why listenership has been declining.
Maybe-
And you're just awful. But continue, please. Tell us about the wizardly cunt of the
Okay,
West.
so she's watching.
Wickedly.
So she's watching this whole thing, and she knows that this field of poppies is coming up. So she's like, she puts a magic spell over these field of poppies.
That's
and then
heroin,
put the-
right? Like that's
exactly.
the symbolism.
Yeah.
It's heroin.
Yeah.
That's why they get all fucked up on it and
Yeah, they end up falling asleep.
They start nodding.
And then the snow comes and they get all energetic and run around.
The snow is I never thought of that. Oh my
That
god!
is a great cross analogy there.
Yes.
Yes.
So
Too
Glenda,
bad Corey didn't think of it.
yeah, Glenda sees this and it's like, wait a minute, this isn't right. So she makes it snow, which is another term for cocaine.
She makes. Jesus Christ, Corey! That was the whole. What do you think we were just talking about?
So anyhow,
Thank you, Mr. Obvious.
they wake up and they head in to Oz and
Just
they
breathe
get in.
through your noses deeply. Put a little bit on your gums.
Rip it, poke your heads out.
So they get into Oz and they get all cleaned up and duded up and everything, and they're told that the wizard's not going to see you. But after the doorman overhears everything, them crying and not being able to get in there, he's like, all right, I'll see what I can do. They end up getting in there, and the wizard says, you've got to bring me the broom of the Wicked Witch of the West. They're like, well, how the fuck are we going to do that? So they're like, all right, whatever. So they head out on this mission to get that, and they end up killing her. Well, on the way there, they are attacked by the monkeys that the Wicked Witch of the West.
Hey, easy! I know you're a racist.
Come on now.
Damn it!
Flying monkeys at that.
The flying monkeys, and
one
Makes
Which
a big difference.
again, though, I mean, if you think of men who fly, traditionally it's Michael Jordan, LeBron. I'm just saying, are there underlying things?
There were no black people in this entire movie, so they had to do something.
I was actually thinking about that right before we started. Like, if there any, there's not a single.
There isn't
This is
one
the 30s.
black person
Was this
in
one?
that movie.
This was past slavery, right?
Look, there were black people in movies in the 30s.
I don't know my history, but
Yeah.
when did slavery end?
long before this.
yeah.
This was 1939, though.
But there were
It-
still
it-
black people in movies in
Yes.
1939.
But they were always playing servants or slaves, but
Yeah, but you know what? Though, do you think the black actors were like, well, but look at Oz. Oz needs some people to clean, and let's do that. Let's do that part.
So
Somebody has to clean up after that horse of a different fucking color.
yeah. So anyhow,
Yeah, the only color the horse didn't turn black.
Fucking racist.
so the flying monkey takes Dorothy to.
Well,
the
first,
Wicked
but
Witch
hold
of
on.
the
First, let's back up because you skipped over a key integral part of this movie, and especially with the folklore.
Well,
of this
I might
movie.
be going back. There's some other things I might
No,
touch on.
just let him continue.
Okay, go ahead.
So anyhow, while they take her away, they're also basically beating up the other three: the Lion, the Scarecrow, and the Tin Man. But once they all fly away, they put the Scarecrow back together, and Toto was also taken as well. He comes back because he escapes and leads them back to the castle, and they end up jumping a couple of the guards and whose uniforms fit them perfectly, and they sneak in.
Well, but to be fair, the Scarecrow could make it work, right?
Yeah, he
'Cause,
could
I mean,
make
he
it
could just pull.
He could,
Yeah.
but the Tin Man? There just happened to be a Tin Man shaped guard?
Maybe he looked around. He was like, "That's the biggest dude." I mean, we don't know. Maybe they was a little short on the ankles, and you know,
He didn't have
it doesn't have to be a perfect
Yeah,
fit.
he didn't have
just
the
maybe
belt.
have to get the jacket and the hat.
Yeah, he didn't have the belt done or anything like that, or the pants zipped up, whatever. So they get in, they find Dorothy, and through a bit of an accident, water gets thrown on the Wicked Witch of the West. She dies, and all her little guards are now like, basically, we're free now. And they get the broom. They take it back to the wizard, who grants them everything that they want. The thing is, all of them already had what they wanted. They didn't know that. It was all.
It was a waste of a movie, like it was a waste of my fucking time, which is why I fell asleep in my chair sitting up and woke up after watching it and said, I'm not fucking watching this crap anymore because this damn movie is as boring as the Dust Bowl it was based after. So I turned on The Wiz. A good
Hey, wait!
telling of the
Isn't
story.
that called the ISIS? No, but isn't it though? Like what you got when you was in the chair? Like, isn't that called Like when you eat turkey and ISIS? Wasn't that on Boondocks? Am I crazy? I think it was called the ISIS.
It is.
It is called the ISIS, right?
I can't believe that's what you pulled from it, but yeah.
I just because we talked about a smile to sleep
It's the
on your
itis.
chair. I just imagine like
Not the ISIS, the itis.
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 Well, that's close.
Good enough though, because that was a fucking hell of a pull, my friend.
That
Yeah, but I
itis,
pretty much
that
woke
itis
up.
got you.
I woke up like this, like head back in the chair, reclining, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm supposed to be watching this movie," and then I just proceeded to watch The Wiz, which is a great telling of this same story, and actually had black people in it.
He's on down. He's on down.
So there are a few things that I wanted to point out. The opening credits has a song montage that plays throughout the whole credits, and it's basically a montage of all the songs you're going to eventually hear throughout the film, which includes "If I Only Had a Brain," "If I Only Had a Heart." Those are songs that people know, and people that can sing, have known to sing along. Also, we're off to see The Wizard, which we already sang. "Ding Dong, the Witch is Dead" is another song that was featured. That's another song that everybody knows and everybody can sing. There's a song that introduces the Munchkins. People know that song, at least parts of it. I don't know all of them, but I do know a lot of some of the lines, not memorized, so don't ask me. In the beginning, when we're still in the black and white phase. That is something that is
As close as they got to having the black person in the movie.
Yeah, the black and white. It goes from black and white to color. Once she gets to Oz, everything changes to color, and that's something that hadn't been seen up until that point. Any movies in color. That was high tech to them. That was
the first color movie.
Yes.
Ever?
It was also one of the damning points about that movie was everyone's pissed off that they went to color because they felt like it was too much.
But that's the thing. But at the time,
that's people.
It is.
People
I mean,
just don't like change.
It completely is, but it's what killed.
Maybe at the time, but now it's almost, you can almost see it as being revolutionary, because what it is it started. Kansas was so bleak and dire. It's all in black and white. But once she gets to Oz, that's where everything becomes more positive and energetic, and that's where the color comes in.
Do you think that's a metaphor where like Kansas is Kansas and Oz is anywhere
but Kansas?
You know what would have made it more colorful? Some black
people.
That would have made it more colorful too.
Now, in while we're still before she gets to Oz, before the tornado, the farmhands. There's a lot of dialogue said between the farmhands that actually foreshadows what's going to happen once she gets to Oz. Some of the things that they say in regards to the guy that plays a scarecrow, the same character that she sees as a scarecrow. He says something like, "You don't have any brains," or something to that effect. So, and each one of the characters actually said something that went along with that. The guy that plays the lion, he said something about her needing to have more, be stronger, and have more courage to go against Myra Gulch, who is this old lady who claims that Toto bit her, which we end up finding out later that she's the Wicked Witch of the West. When she gets to Oz,
she's the cunt.
Yeah, she's the cunt.
Bitten.
Yeah, she's the Wicked Witch or Wicked Cunt of the West, I guess you could say. But so there's a lot of stuff there, and it's just cinematically, it's one of the most popular musicals ever, and people really love this movie. It used to play every year. I think TBS used to show it like every Christmas. I don't know why they picked Christmas, but they did. And everybody seems to love this movie. And there's so many iconic songs in this film as opposed to Rocky Horror.
He loves that iconic. He loves the word iconic.
But they are. I mean, there are lines in this movie.
Did you really just say that Rocky Horror Picture Show doesn't have any iconic songs in it?
I didn't say that. No,
you did
I
just
said
say
compared to Rocky Horror, Wizard of Oz has so many more songs. When we get to yours, I will talk about those songs.
I'm still waiting on you to get to the thing I want to talk about. So
there's one line, or there's a line that everybody knows, and everybody likes to say, "Lions and tigers and bears, oh my, That's a line everybody knows, and everybody says, "What were you going to say?" Because obviously I didn't hit on it.
Oh, so okay. So, the scene where the witch throws fire at the scarecrow from the top of the house.
Right.
Following that is the infamous
Yes.
suicide.
The suicide, it's not there. That's a bird.
I don't know, man. Like, I don't know how many birds go back and forth.
I've seen
like
it. I've looked at it so many times, and I know they say it was a prop bird that fell over or something.
If you watch in the background through that scene, because I always thought it was somebody. You know, I'd heard that rumor, and if you watch it on Blu-ray, you can actually see that there are a bunch of birds in the background that are wandering around, and that's what
it
is.
was somebody who got stuck to being in this movie who hated it so much they hung themselves, which is what I wanted to do.
It was supposedly a disgruntled employee that
Because that's
hung
my
himself.
thing is, you can maybe see birds in the background, but I've never seen a bird that flops down and then
Really
goes
starts
back.
swinging
Yeah,
back
like a
and forth.
pendulum. And what would make more sense when the Blu-ray comes out is to leave that scene as is, with a death during one of the biggest family movies in history, or to CGI add in some extra fucking birds. So it looks a little.
You think they Steven Spielberg did and
Because I
put in
don't
put in
remember.
birds?
I used to own the old VHS copy, the one that you're supposedly able to clearly see it on, and there weren't a whole lot of extra bird activities. Because I remember going through it with me and my friends, and this was before the internet. This was when I was in like 7th grade, and we found that scene, and it was like, it was clearly, it was clearly like, this is obviously the suicide they're talking about.
Yeah, well, you know, I don't know.
You
None of us were there. They're claiming that it wasn't.
Again,
Yes.
because again, what makes
it was 1930s, and you don't want a suicide on your movie set.
Right.
The greatest movie
An
of
accidental
history.
death, maybe.
Yeah.
It's controversial, and someone died for their art, but when they actually died because they couldn't take the.
It was a lot easier for them to cover shit up back then.
Right.
And
there was no internet.
You don't
There
get
was no internet.
You
and
don't
lots
get
of gangsters running things.
You don't get a consensus online as to the truth either.
Mm-hmm.
It's mostly all speculation, which to me means there's no definitive proof that it didn't happen.
Right.
Well, a lot of people die on Disney property. No one ever really hears about it. So
Apparently, the Munchkins used to get fucked up.
they were fucking treated horribly too. If you read some, if you watch and read some of the documentaries about how they treated those fucking Munchkins,
I think they got.
It's
paid
probably
like,
a good thing there weren't any black peoples on there because they would have had us in like chains and God knows what else.
Yeah, they weren't paid very well.
But they prefer to be called little people.
Well, at the time they were okay with midget.
Yeah.
In that
Or
time
Munchkins.
frame.
There's also something. This doesn't really have a lot to do with the actual enjoyment of the movie, but if you take Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon, you can sync it up with this, and it plays perfectly. Just make sure you put the disc on repeat, and that does work because I have tried it, and I was sober when I tried it, so it's not just the drugs.
So they
The
did
drugs
that.
make you think that.
Obviously, they did that intentionally.
They say they didn't. Pink Floyd says they didn't. But it's funny that as soon as it changes from black and white to color, the song "Money" starts to play. It's the very beginning of the song. So it can't be coincidental.
Okay, so
Oh, you found it online.
yeah, here is the suicide video. This is from a VHS tape, much along the lines of the one that I had. as a kid.
And those listening can look it up on YouTube as we will watch it here.
This is Wizard of Oz 2011 Hanging Munchkin found on VHS tape. Now there's where you can see.
Okay, yeah, there's
See, this is
something
what I'm
there.
talking about. Okay, this might look like something moving around back there. I think actually we just missed it. Okay, here we go.
This is great podcasting.
Well, you know what would be
as
great
well.
is if Corey put the link to this in our description for the show.
See, look, yeah. Now see, that where's the bird's legs, Corey?
Yeah.
And it's just hanging.
That's no
That's
bird,
funny.
dude.
That does.
That's no bird.
It's too bad you can't. With YouTube, you can't zoom in and really look.
That's
but,
called a mistreated little person. You're being over the shit.
I believe
Oh, they
there
did
is a-
zoom in.
Oh, here we go.
They did
That's
zoom in.
200%. That looks like a rope hanging a person.
That does.
Yep.
Yeah. There's no way that's not. Look at that.
Yeah, that's
this user, suicidal. Wait, there's suicidal munchkin.
It does say suicidal munchkin.
So it's youtube.com/user/suicidal munchkin.
Corey will put it in the description of the episode.
This is a 50%.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, they got more. They got it. This is
Slow
a
motion.
300%.
Oh,
That is a dead midget.
You think that's a bird, dude? You really see that as a bird?
That's a person.
There's no
You
way.
didn't want to see the legs.
Yeah.
Looks like a person in a dress.
Yeah, I'll have to go back and watch the Blu-ray.
Well, I'm sure it's.
Your movie,
No, I want to see what's on the Blu-ray
Oh, just
now.
to see if it's the
Yeah,
same?
yeah.
your movie killed a person.
Hey.
And caused them to kill themselves, I should say.
Yeah, but nobody noticed it until years later. So anyhow, Wizard of Oz, by far one of the most memorable, iconic, and best musicals ever. Unlike Rocky Horror, which was dreadful to watch.
Which was...
This is a 400% zoom with stabilization. That's a person hanging.
Yep.
I mean, that's not a. That's
There's this debunked. Your bird theory debunked.
Hey, I'm just saying what they said.
But see, I feel like that was something that once because it was around when I was a kid. But then when I do remember the DVD was different, wasn't it? Then when the DVD came out or the Blu-ray, one of the two, it was like different.
I think they may have.
Why change it then if it's just a bird?
Well,
Yeah.
well, like I said, I'm just basing it off of what they said, and looking at this, yeah, I gotta believe that it's not a bird. So, anyhow, Rocky Horror.
So your argument is that Rocky Horror Picture Show is horrible and it has nothing on your movie. However, it was selected for preservation by a U.S. National Film Registry by the Library of Congress in 2005 as being culturally, historically, and aesthetically significant to the human race. But it
Who said
was
that?
horrible.
Who said that?
The Library of Congress, the people who
God, they got low standards.
the people who archive everything. 40 years after this movie was made, it's still being played in theaters around the
true.
world.
That
Yet
is true.
it's a horrible movie that nobody likes.
I didn't
your
say
argument-
nobody
no,
likes
dude,
it.
that's what you said. You said it was a horrible movie.
I just said it was a horrible movie. Yes.
Continue with the rest of that statement. That
Go on.
doesn't
Go on.
have the
Go on and
doesn't
talk
have the
about
following.
Go on and talk about your horrible movie.
It's so bad that they're making a second one of it and a play based on it.
The play's been around. For
On the second movie?
Oh no.
You didn't see? You gotta listen. All right, so Rocky Horror Picture Show. What Corey believes to be a horrible film is definitely not. In comparison, even with the adjustment that was made for your movie, this movie did much better than yours. The movie is basically about a couple, Brad Majors and Janet Weiss. After getting engaged at their friend's wedding, they decide that they're going to go back to their town in Ohio and visit their professor who was responsible for them meeting in their class. On the trip back, there's a heavy rainstorm. They realize that they may be in trouble and they end up with a flat tire. So they remember seeing a castle a few miles back. So they get out, they walk back to the castle to try to find out if they can get a call to help somebody to help them. When they get to the door, they are met by Riff Raff, who is the castle handyman, who basically right from the start you have this outlandish, crazy ass character who you can't help but as soon as you see him, like, the first thought is, what the fuck? And the second one is, this dude's hilarious. He is one of the best things about this movie. So they end up at the castle of Dr. Frankenfurter, a transvestite alien from the planet of transsexual in the galaxy of Transylvania. This movie has so many great songs in it and so many iconic songs in it that people around the world have taken to showing up at the movie, dressed up as the character, dancing and acting and singing out the songs for over 40 years. This has been going on. 40 years, but it's a bad movie. I'm just saying. So the course of the movie, and mind you, I am not a big fan of musicals. Like, they actually kind of drive me nuts. I can't stand sitting through them. There's probably only 2 or 3 that I can actually deal with, one of which being The Wiz, not The Wizard of Oz, the other being this, which is why when this topic came up, I was like, Rocky Horror Picture Show right away, because if I'm going to have to sit through a musical, this is going to be one of the ones I sit through. So when they arrive at the castle, they find out that they have shown up at the at Dr. Frankenfritter's annual convention for other people from his planet. So he gets them all there, and he introduces his latest invention to them, and they have a big party, and they basically wall out all night long. Riff Raff, Magenta, and Columbia, who is his maid and one of the housekeepers or something like that, they are another one of the kind of the leading choreography and singing part of the show, of the movie, who kind of lead everybody into the different transitions from the dialogue to the singing portions of the movie. And they each have just a different thing. Time Warp, which is another hugely popular song, which I don't know why you think that it's not. There are tons of people who know who exactly that song is and know the words to it, as well as the dance that goes with it.
I'm gonna stop you right there.
Time Warp begins.
Time Warp is their most notable song. Yes, I would totally agree with that, and yes, I do know a lot of the words. That song and the Meatloaf song are the only good songs in the movie. Every other song is horrible, and they're boring. Especially when they first get up to the castle and they're singing that song. It's like, the songs are just terrible.
Damn it, Janet, at the beginning of this song. When he's proposing
That's the only
to her.
redeeming line out of that whole song. Damn it, Janet, I love you. That's the only redeeming line. The rest of the song
But
sucks.
you remember it.
It doesn't matter.
That's what makes
It's
the
a
movie
musical.
memorable.
The song should be memorable.
It is. You remember it.
Not one... It shouldn't just be reduced to one line. It should be the entire song. Wizard of Oz has like almost every song is memorable. This, Rocky Horror, not so much. 2 good songs, and that's it. All the
2
other
good songs to you.
2 good songs. And
However,
the,
the population of the world that listens and
Name some other
follows
songs.
this. What?
Name some other songs.
Let's
Without
see.
looking.
No, why don't you
Nope.
go without looking?
Because
no,
I can-
no,
Because
sir.
I can do Wizard of
No,
Oz.
sir.
I know the songs without looking. You can't do it without looking.
It doesn't matter if I look.
Yes, it does. If we're
We're-
talking popularity,
Are we doing a podcast? Can people see what I'm doing? I don't think so.
if we're talking popularity, you should already know what those songs are.
Time Warp, Sweet Transvestite, Damn It, Janet. What?
You just looked at the paper!
Those are the first 3 songs in the damn thing, because you remember
That's not
them.
the first 3 songs. There's another song when
Which
they find
one
the
is it?
castle. I don't know the name of it because it sucks. Those songs are absolutely horrible. And after Meatloaf gets killed, the whole movie goes downhill. Especially the songs. They're fucking horrible.
To you.
To anybody.
The rest of the population of the world that
The
follows this
only
does not
redeeming
think so.
value this movie has is it has a gimmick, and that it's played at midnight and people throw shit at the screen. That's a gimmick. That doesn't make a
That's
good
a
movie.
gimmick?
Yes, it does not make a good movie. Just because
40 years of a following
It's a
of
gimmick.
makes it a gimmick?
it's a gimmick. Thank you. This
You're full of...
Wizard of Oz is beloved by millions of people.
I have to go with it as a gimmick.
Rocky Horror is only
But
loved
it's not a
by
gimmick.
certain
It was not a
group of
gimmick that
people.
was created by the movie to keep people following. It was a gimmick that was created by the
Because
people
the movie sucked so bad.
who wanted to be there, found a following, found a group of people that they could meet with, that they could cooperate, that they could have fun with, that they could enjoy something with,
Yeah,
and create
and it's those
create a
same
cult
people.
following like other movies, like They Live, that was a horrible movie, but it has a cult following because there are people who believe in that movie and that believe in this movie and find it to be one of the greatest movies of all times, in which the fucking government agrees with them.
I don't understand that point. But as far as Rocky Horror goes and the people that follow it, it's the same people. There are people, I've read people before who have said, I wanted to go to the midnight screening just because people throw shit. That was the whole reason. That's the whole reason why this movie stays in popularity. Wizard of Oz is not that way. It survives on its own. It doesn't need this cheesy gimmick.
How many people go out to see this movie still?
If I don't know.
Nobody. It doesn't have a following. It's just replayed.
It's replayed. It's replayed at the Art Craft all the time, and people.
The Art Craft. Where is that?
Down in Franklin, Indiana.
Where's it's in Franklin, Indiana? Where's this played? London, New York City, L.A., all over the world. Still 40 years later.
But what theaters is it played in?
It's played.
What are the venues they show it at?
In rundown theaters in front of a screen where people are up dancing and doing stuff in front of the screen. They're not watching the movie. They're creating their own play.
I don't remember what the name of the theater is, but that theater was one of the original locations that they started playing the movie at. And still to this day, people are able to go there. And it's become a historical landmark because of that movie and because of the following that it has. So obviously there's history being made by this movie. Which means
the gimmick is what's selling it.
It doesn't matter what's selling it. It's making money and it's bringing people together.
And
generations of people are finding this movie and still watching it 40 years later. Older than you.
Wow, this is awesome.
Well,
that's hard to do.
Arguably. Anyway, moving on back to the storyline. The actors in this movie. Tim Curry, great actor. Agree or disagree? Barry Bostwick.
nobody gave Vic an answer. He said, agree or disagree? And we were all like, well, who's going to...
Tim Curry was only good. I'll give him credit. He's great in this movie. He's great as Pennywise. And he was great in Clue. That's it.
You're forgetting about a little movie called Gridlocked, in which he and Tupac Shakur played heroin addicts attempting to get clean, and it is a great movie.
I never saw Gridlocked.
Well acted.
He was awesome in Little Orphan Annie as the Rooster.
Oh, I forgot about
another
that.
good musical.
So we're up to 5.
Okay, but that's it. Go on. Carry on with your thing. Barry Bostwick. Name another
Meatloaf.
movie. Go back to Barry Bostwick and name another movie.
What do I need to name what he's
Well, because you did that with Tim Curry.
You show more goddamn respect to the mayor of New York City. Spin City was a great show. And Barry Bostwick is great in everything he does. He's one of those guys, he pops up in things from time to time, and he's always funny and always perfect. I will not have you badmouth Barry Bostwick. Not on this show. You son of a bitch. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So the storyline goes on. Dr. Frankenfurter creates a new thing every year that he presents at his convention. This year he has created an ultimate human being, a man-made being that is designed for ultimate pleasure. And in doing so, he has brought everybody together to see this. And Janet, when she sees him, she's enthralled with it. She doesn't know what's going on. But Frankenfurter is enthralled with both Janet and Scott because he wants both of them and pursues them both throughout the course of the movie. So as the movie goes on, again, you have different characters that are in there. Which, oh, by the way, there were black people in this movie. It wasn't a racist movie.
Yeah, they were the background characters.
You have main characters, you have background characters. It doesn't matter. They still cast a black person in the movie.
Yeah.
That's the point.
And I heard that there was an extra that killed himself on the set. You can still see it if you. By the way, I did some more research, and I think the video we watched might have been a fraud.
That's
we may not have cracked open anything. I don't know if we rehashed a cold case.
Why do you say that?
I saw another YouTube video. I missed like Vic's first 4 minutes because I was watching it. But it literally said it debunked the whole thing. But then again, I'm like, but what if that's a conspiracy video made out because the other video was the real video and these people are just working for MGM? What if that's the lion? You know, that put out that video. Huh. Yes, I'm not immune. Go ahead, Vic.
I give you props, though.
So, as I was saying, Frank chases Janet as Brad Then he chases Brad as Janet. He ends up going into their room, sneaking in and doing an impression of their voices, convinces them to sleep with him. Janet is reluctant and then gives in, saying, "Don't tell anyone."
He does some great impressions after only having met them for half hour.
Well, you know.
Yeah.
That was the MGM line.
He
might become another recurring character.
So, like I said, he's chasing down Janet as Brad, and he chases Brad as Janet. Gets both of them to sleep with him, which is kind of funny because he literally uses the same line on them, where he's like, you can't, it's Brad, and she's like, well, he's like, did you sleep with her? He's like, well, I don't know, should I? And then he goes to the other one and does the same thing. His moves on both of them are exactly the same. He ends up getting Barry Bostwick to give in to his ways. The movie goes on to oh man, there we go again. After he turns out Janet becomes like the whore, the cunt of this particular movie, and she is hot to trot. She wants to have sex now that she's finally had the chance to do it with Frankenfurter. She starts looking for other things to do, and she finds Rocky, who is the creation that Frankenfurter had made, and she sees his rippling muscles. She gets hot for him. She wants to sleep with him. She ends up with him, which pisses off Frankenfurter.
I'm getting hot listening to this.
The song and dance ensues.
Can I just say that Susan Sarandon's boobs look great in this movie? That's all I could.
Oh.
That's all I could look at.
That's always a good selling point for a movie, too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah. Well, that's
Boobs.
Yeah, but that's it. That's the only good thing about this movie. Carry on.
Did you just look that up? Like,
No.
Are you browsing?
No,
pictures
I've been
of Susan
waiting.
Sarandon?
No, I've been waiting. I've been waiting for the
Showing her
opportunity to
boobs.
say it.
Well, I didn't watch the movie for her boobs, so
I didn't either. It just happened to show
just happened
up.
to pop out to you.
Yeah.
Because she was running around in her underwear the entire movie.
Yeah.
You don't ever see her like actual boobs, though, do you?
No, you
No,
don't.
just-
and I don't
just-
think she's been nude on any movie, to be honest.
Yeah, it doesn't look that way.
See, Brad's the one that's looking it up on Google.
Yeah, no, they look pretty good.
He's like, Susan Sarandon's boobs. No?
Yeah.
Okay. So more song and dance ensues. The entire thing is just like from start to finish, just fun, energetic, crazy, dancing, singing, interactions between everybody. The comedy in it is great. Frankenfurter just kind of steals the whole thing. Riff Raff's character is just, he just does little things that you see, like when he walks up and he hands Janet a cloth to dry off with, it's actually like a bloodied towel. And she doesn't realize it for like ever. And then when she does realize it, she's like, oh my God, it's a bloody towel, and throws it down. Just little things like that you catch through the course of the movie. So Frankenfurter ends up dying. The spaceship with the castle, which is actually a spaceship, blasts off to go back to their home planet. Brad and Dr. Scott and Janet are left basically spent,
Brad
used,
and Dr. Scott.
and Janet.
Brad Scott.
Exactly.
I hope that doesn't win many points.
Was that for you? Okay.
Yes, it was, Vic.
I was just checking to see if I fucked something up.
Hey, there could be one for you around the corner.
I
Go ahead.
gotcha. So they end up, wore the fuck out, and that's the end of the movie.
I tell you what, this whole movie, yes, Tim Curry was good, but as far as the acting itself, I felt like I was watching a stage play of a high school musical. I mean, seriously, the acting was that bad. Even Susan Sarandon and Barry Bostwick were bad in this. I mean, it's I don't put them on a scale of 1 to 10. They're probably about a 5.
Backpedal.
No, they're about a 5. Everybody else, like Riff Raff and Magenta and whatever.
Maybe because
whatever
they were a little thing called an independent film that wasn't using a lot of really big name actors at the time.
Yeah, and this was your argument during They Live.
No, it was your argument during They Live that it's okay because of that.
Oh, that's...
Remember?
Fucking Christ, boys! We don't know that we haven't talked about They Live yet. Remember?
Yeah, we have. Yeah, it is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He's got this whole new system of maybe I'm going to save some episodes, so I never know what episodes he's going to save.
Anyway, I thought the acting was bad. And there's even a shot when they walk up on the castle for the first time. It zooms in on the castle like at least 10 times. It's just like zoom in. It's like, what the hell is going on? I thought the cinematography was bad. Let me tell you something. I always thought it'd be interesting to have a horror film that's taken from first-person perspective the entire movie. This film told me that's a bad idea because there's a lot of that first-person perspective. They had, when Meatloaf was driving around on his motorcycle, it's almost like they had a GoPro. Obviously, they didn't have GoPros then, but the equivalent of a GoPro cam on this motorcycle driving around. It's like, oh my God, this is insane. And it wasn't just that scene. It was through a lot of the movie where you had that type of stuff, and it's like, this is camera work is horrible, and it's nauseating. It's almost as bad as Blair Witch Project. It's the whole movie itself is just bad. It's not a good watch.
You are a very small number of people who believe
this. It may have been back in the 70s when this came out. This may have been a great thing for a small portion of people, and it's those same small portion of people that are continuing to run. Not everybody likes this movie.
What is that small portion of people you talk about? Because it's
those
generations, new generations of people every year.
It's those same. And it's all their offspring, and it's the same people that keep going to these midnight shows just for that dumb gimmick.
It's commercial time for the Showdown Podcast with our special guest, Chris Trueblood. Chris, where can the folks find you at?
They can find me on the Twitter at TruePoc1 and my band, That 90s Band, at That 90s Band on Twitter, and That 90s Band Music on Facebook, and That 90s Band on YouTube.
Vic?
You can find me at Black and Angry, BLAQ and Angry on Xbox One, as well as at MillerKing51 on social media.
Corey?
All right, you can.
You can find me at BradScottComedy.com and on Twitter and Instagram at IndieBradScott. All right, Corey.
All right.
Nope, the Showdown Pod at the Showdown Pod. And like us on Facebook. Somebody should, the Showdown Podcast. Okay, Corey.
Are you sure?
Yes.
All right. You can find me on Twitter at NKOgonzo.
All right, let's get back to the show. All right, we're back, and we had a nice long deliberation. And Chris, have you made your decision?
I have made my decision.
All right,
My
so
decision is final.
as our
My decision is
guest,
final.
you go first. So go ahead and tell us who you chose and why.
Okay. I chose Corey.
Yay!
Because the movie didn't have any black people in it.
Oh, Jesus, I just got fucking done over by...
So your race card does not play.
Same reason Corey picked the movie in the first place. Ironically enough.
High five over the mic.
Yes.
Woo. No, I went with Corey because he is right. The more the songs are memorable. The reason there's not a big following for it anymore is because they don't play it in theaters as much as they do Rocky Horror Picture Show. Rocky Horror Picture Show is a great movie only because of the gimmick thing that the following it has is a gimmick. It really is a gimmick. The reason I wanted to see it, was because everyone said this movie is so horrible, you have to watch it. And then from a musician's point of view, as a songwriter and being in a band and everything, Wizard of Oz was one of those movies growing up that I saw that it kind of turned me into wanting to go into music. I know it seems silly, but it does. Rocky Horror Picture Show, I only know the two songs though, Time Warp and the Meatloaf song, which I don't even actually know the title of that song. So, I'm sorry, Vic. I am so sorry.
You're so much like Jimmy Roberson, it scares me.
But you know, and also not to mention though is they didn't have any Asians or anything in Wizard of Oz either, did they?
Yeah, they did.
Did they?
Yep.
Okay.
Several of the Munchkins were. Literally everyone else was
tell.
represented.
Oh, okay.
But the
Okay. So the race card is not.
It's valid.
It's invalid. They just don't like black people.
Right. Either way, it's still a
Other
valid
races, only if you're a little person, are okay.
But there are plenty really good little person actors too.
So, oh yeah, there are.
A couple episodes ago, Tony Cox.
Vern Troyer.
He's not black, dude.
Okay,
We just made the statement that it's black.
I didn't know you were meaning just black.
There were several black Ewoks.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And Jawas.
And Jaws.
All right, my decision. It's difficult because the Rocky Horror Picture Show has a character named Brad in it.
God, I feel
need to
something
start finding
bad
movies with
going
Brad
on.
with your name in it then.
But it'll be yet another unanimous decision. I gotta go with Corey too, simply based on the argument of your movie is a gimmick, my movie is timeless. That was a good argument. It pains me to admit it, but that was actually a good argument, and I agree with him. I feel like the fact that he could have probably listed 10 songs off the top of his head from the movie, and you looked at the paper and still could only come up with 30.
There's only 7 songs in the whole freaking thing.
Well,
so...
but that leans credence to his argument. His musical is more memorable for the music than your movie is to me. And I mean, yeah, they don't show his movie in theaters, but they still have it on TBS. You know, it still seems like an event. Like even TBS marketed it.
If MGM or if one of the movie companies, whoever owns rights to it, MGM, I believe, if they decided to redo something big, anniversary, put it out in a big theater, it would sell.
Why wouldn't they do that? Why wouldn't they use the day that it was released and make that Wizard of Oz day from here on out? Like, wouldn't that be a brilliant concept? You just re-air it one day in theaters on that one day every year, and then you start selling costumes and merchandise and all that other bullshit.
They probably could. I think TBS owns the rights. I know they used to. I'm not sure if they do now.
Well, look at this. My daughter, I want to say less than 2 years ago, McDonald's had Wizard of Oz Happy Meal toys. Yeah. I mean, that's a movie.
Were they based on this or on the re-release?
No, on this.
On this.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're based on this. Yeah.
I have 4 daughters, and I've been through all those Happy Meal toys as well.
I bought 2 sets. I bought one to stash away.
I bought
I
bought 4 because I have 4 kids and all that.
That is her college tuition.
You're hoping they
you better hope that it
you need a lot of those things.
So it's an iconic movie, and I'm surprised they haven't had a remake yet.
They have.
The Wiz doesn't count.
I'm not talking about The Wiz. I'm talking about The Great and Powerful Oz is a remake of The Wizard of Oz.
No,
Great and Powerful Oz
it's an
is a
origin
prequel.
Story. Yeah, it's a prequel.
It's a
an
prequel.
origin story.
And it's not necessarily correct.
There's no Dorothy.
Well, there's not a lot you can do with
well,
unless you literally take the actual.
Well, see, the thing is,
are they gonna have an Oz universe now and fucking 6 different spin-off movies? A Munchkin movie about how the Munchkins
fusion
came
movies.
to live.
Well, honestly, I wish they would do Wicked as a
musical.
Yeah,
or as a movie.
As a movie, because there's some liberties with the book as far as it being a true prequel to the Wizard of Oz books. But I think the book is really interesting to read, and I saw the play, and with the play they actually changed several things too. But it still played out great, and I would love to see it made into a movie. There's been talks that they're going to do it. It's been off again, on again. So
Have you seen Wicked before?
Yes, I've seen it 3 times.
Jesus Christ, that's like $700. I was gonna take my daughter, and like the cheapest seats you can find are like $85, which
we went. I think we went on like we either went.
It's pretty expensive.
I think we went like the second night, and the ticket, and actually they were gifts to us. So 2 of the times they were gifts, so we didn't actually pay anything. But the third time we actually drove to Chicago because we didn't know it was going to come here. So that was the first time I saw it, and I loved the play. And I don't even like musicals, but I liked those.
supposedly they help you get blowjobs.
That's what I heard. Yeah.
I've never heard this before. Hold on.
South Park.
South Park. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Which I just saw
about to
last
say,
week.
I'm really confused about
What other musicals could you see them turning into a movie besides Wicked?
Now, is it being a movie or is it still a musical or just
Still
a movie?
musical. Still a musical. Because
But it'll be on a studio, right?
What do you mean?
That's what you're talking about, right?
Yeah, I'm saying they do it like they did Wizard of Oz. Still a musical, but it's in movie form. You don't see that nowadays anymore. People kind of like, I don't really like movies.
They did it with Chicago.
Mamma Mia.
Yeah.
South Park had a musical.
That's true. Speaking of South Park, I think Book of Mormon. I have never seen it, but everybody I hear, everybody says that movie or the play is great. So I would like to see that in movie form.
Wait. What
Don't
about
Fuck the Babies would be a kind of a hard thing to play off.
what was the one that Into the Woods?
Yep.
Oh, I heard that was horrible. I haven't.
But
seen
it's a musical that they made out of a play this year.
Yeah, and I heard it was real horrible from people that love the play, saying that it's not even the same thing. Again, I haven't seen it, so I can't say anything.
Les Miserables.
That's been done a lot of times.
Why do you always do this, though? You always do this.
Make a statement.
Where you make a statement
Make
of
a
fact.
statement.
They don't do that with musicals.
Les Miserables had like the big guys in it too. Russell Crowe.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard Russell Crowe sing?
Yeah, and it's dreadful.
Oh,
Is it bad?
It's
no,
so
it's
dreadful.
wonderful. It's wonderful. It's heartfelt.
I hated that fucking
Have
movie.
you seen Ling?
Yeah, I've seen that.
Did you actually watch it, or did you have it up on an iPad while you watched your Dolphins lose?
No. No, I actually sat through that, and I saw the one with Liam Neeson, which I fell asleep to that one.
Taken 3?
Yeah, Taken 3.
The musical?
Yeah, Taken 3.
Musical.
I don't know who you are, but I will find you.
I've got a certain set of
I
skills.
will kill you. He's got a certain set of skills.
A certain set of skills. Phantom of the Opera. There's been like 4 different.
For both of us. Just for both of us.
Come on, that wasn't bad. We can work on it. It's, we're just ad-libbing there.
He's being
We
honest.
can work on it.
Yeah, we can work
We
on
can
it.
be better next time.
Isn't Pitch Perfect a musical too?
What about Grease?
I don't know. Is Pitch Perfect really
It's
a
a
musical?
musical.
How is it not a musical? They sing through the entire
Yeah.
fucking movie.
Yes, but they sing on stage as part of a.
They sing off stage too.
Yeah, they sing through the movie. You realize that, right? Like,
Yeah, but they're not sitting in their dorm going.
no, I'm pretty sure they
That's
are.
how Les Miserables is. There are no spoken lines throughout the entire
Yeah,
movie.
and that's the
It's
thing that
just
bothers the
straight-
shit out of me.
But but that doesn't mean that Pitch Perfect's not a musical. If they have,
It's just a different
What was
style.
the one with Johnny Depp where he was the murdering barber?
Sweeney Todd.
Sweeney Todd.
That's another one I think
Yeah.
too, isn't it?
I prefer.
Okay, so I was wrong. I forgot about a bunch of this. Shoot me.
I prefer Andy Dufresne's Todd Sweeney. Or not Andy Dufresne. That's the guy from Shawshank Redemption. I was like, hold on, where do we go? I was thinking of Andy from The Office. Ed Helms' character. You know what? That
Just threw me for a second. I was like,
that actually deserves.
there's two.
And
Jesus.
that's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us on the Showdown podcast. Once again, we are an award-winning podcast. We do want to say thank you to our special guest, Chris Trueblood.
Thank you for having me on your award-winning podcast.
A big congrats to today's champion, Corey Miller.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's the first win in a long time.
Yeah. And that's well deserved.
Sun shines on a dog's ass at least once a day.
Yeah, I think so.
So, again, thank you for listening, and we hope you'll join us next time on the Showdown Podcast.